One of the problems with living in a digital age is the fact that our inboxes get absolutely inundated with tons and tons of emails. Now, over the past couple weeks, I've signed up for a lot of online services, and invariably, they all come with a plethora of getting to know your website emails. And I just don't need, frankly, my phone to be binging that much in the middle of the night, especially. So, the first step that you're going to do to wrangle your inbox is to find an email that comes from a source that you'd like to filter. So, in this case, I've got this email that came in this morning from this new website that I signed up for yesterday. I'm going to click the checkbox next to the email, click on More, and then filter messages like these. Now, from here, this filter, we can have it set up to look at specific senders, to look at specific mailing lists, the subject line. I had one email earlier this week that sent me an email from this company every day that had step in the title. It was going over steps of getting stuff set up, which I didn't need. So I could use step as being the subject line. You could have it have certain words or not have certain words. You could even search for emails that have attachments or don't include chats. Then click on Create Filter with this message. Then you'll get this huge long list of things that you can do to emails that arrive in your inbox. So as soon as it comes in, what is it going to do? My favorite one is to skip the inbox or to archive it. And basically what that means is that if you look over here on the left-hand side, it would mean that it wouldn't show up here in your inbox. It would show up under all mail instead, or underneath a different label depending on what you choose, which we'll go over in a moment. You can also mark things as read, which if you're getting stuff through multiple resources, then marking it as read might be a good idea because you might be also seeing it on Twitter and Facebook and various other places. It might be something that you want to reference later, but you don't actually need to be able to read it right now. I use the star function to star items that are coming into my inbox from specific senders that are telling me that I need to be doing something, and I'll read it and then have it start automatically, and then I'll unstar it as soon as that task is being completed. But you can use stars however you'd like, obviously. Now, labels, in my mind, labels in Gmail are a bit like folders. So for this instance, I'm going to create a new label. And labels you can nest under one another. So in this instance, this is an online tool. And I'm going to call it just what the website is. But you can name it anything that you want, and you don't have to nest it at all. So now, whenever I get an email that comes into my inbox, it's going to skip the inbox and go right to being labeled as an online tool instead. I could also have it set up to automatically forward it. Now, I use the forward email feature in order to automatically send all my payroll notifications to my personal email as well. Just in case I were to ever lose my Bonnie Eagle Gmail address, then I have a copy for my own personal reference later. You can also have it delete. And if you're getting a lot of spam from a particular sender and you're tired of trying to find that unsubscribe button, then the delete function for your filters is going to be huge. I had a teacher yesterday who was getting a lot of Quicken Loan information into her Bonnie Eagle Gmail. So by using the delete function, she never has to see it again, despite however many times that she's clicked unsubscribe. Never send it to spam. If you have emails that are showing up in your spam and you don't want them to, that's the obvious choice there. You can also have things set up to get an automatic canned response. So if they are, for example, sending you email that has to do with a specific subject line or a specific topic, or if you're like me and you change jobs over the course of the summer, change positions, you can use a canned response to automatically send emails back to people that are referencing specific items in that email in order to get your canned response. You can also always mark them as important, and the important symbol is that little yellow icon that you'll see next to the subject line. Or you can say it never marked as important. Now, out of the probably 30 emails that I got yesterday morning for this job, one of them was marked as unimportant, and every single other one was marked as important, which is not the case. In actuality, probably the one that was not marked as important really should have been. So I usually select this as well because I don't really need a lot of those little yellow things kicking around. Now, Google tries to be smart and use smart label categorization, but because I'm applying my own label, I usually exclude it from smart label categorization. And you can also categorize it as different things if you'd like. I don't tend to use categories, but they are there if it would help make your life a little bit easier. And then the key thing that you want to select before you move on is to also apply the filter to the one matching conversation. So in this case, I have an email that's already hit my inbox, but I haven't done anything with it yet. I want to make sure that it also runs this filter on that one email that's already come in. Then I can hit create filter. And this email just popped onto my label over here for SOICM. So now whenever I'm looking for emails that have to do with SOICM, then I'll be able to go right there. I won't have to search for it underneath the tools, the search bar at the top. Now, some common ones that you may want to look at, as you can see over here, I have labels set up for staff talks at both schools. I also have labels set up for principal's notes, for swap and sell. Basically, if you name it, I have a filter set up. Now, if you want to review your filters or edit them at any time, you can click on the gear button and then go down to settings. And then from here, if you click on filters, this is where you're going to find all of your filters that you have set up. Now, I obviously have a ton of them. But over the years, these are just various emails that I frankly don't want to see in my inbox. So set up your filters, get moving that way, and it will help clear up your inbox. The last thing that I do want to mention is that you can use click and drop. So if you create labels, which you can do over here at the very bottom of this list, you can create a new label. And once you've created a new label, if you don't want to actually run a filter on the emails that are coming in order to file them away, you can also click and drag them into the folders that you want them to be in. So if I wanted this one to be labeled as a class tool instead and not underneath the subtool as SOICM, then I could click and drag it and it will relocate it to that folder. So that can be really handy. If you are, for example, getting a lot of emails in that into your inbox that maybe have information that you'll need to reference later, or a task that you'll need to do later but you don't have time to do right now, create a label and then plunk emails in there that maybe you either want to read later or you need to do something with later. But that can really help clear out that inbox. Now, we do have like 30 gigabytes worth of data under our Bonnie Eagle Gmail accounts, so you do have a lot of room. So don't be in a panic about needing to delete everything, because you might find that if you delete it, you want it later. Now, on the off chance that you do run that script in order to delete the file or delete the email when it comes in, it winds up going into your trash folder over here. So you can come back in and recover files. I recommend checking this every so often, but the emails will be automatically deleted 30 days after it shows up in the trash. So if you don't want it, then you can just empty your trash. But check it every so often just to see what's filtering out. Because if you're like me and you have a lot of filters set up, you may discover that you have filters set up to do things that maybe you don't want them to do anymore. And I think that just about covers wrangling your inbox. I'll also be doing a how-to as a Google Doc to walk you guys through how to do it. But it is super simple. It can definitely save you a lot of headaches in the long run.